Here I am in Kauai, one of the most beautiful places on the planet, and yet there are still fast food drive-thrus.
Hi, I'm a therapy.
Hi there, can I please get a number 1?
With cheese.
Yes, with cheese. Large fries. Extra ketchup.
The last couple of years, we've not only experienced a global pandemic, but fires around the world. I live part-time on Kauai and part-time here in Santa Cruz, California, where fires have burnt over 380,000 acres in 2020. This year, the Dixie Fire has been the largest fire in California. Like many, I've had friends who have lost their home, and like many, I experience anxiety triggered when I smell smoke. Our planet is experiencing literal fires, while there is a metabolic fire happening within our body. In this episode, I'm going to explore inflammation, which gives us an altered biochemistry and metabolism that sets us on biological fire. We all know that a diet of junk food and environmental toxins are bad for us, but most of us don't understand what happens on a biological level as a result of the toxins. Science has shown us that the biological result of us poisoning ourselves is what's called metabolic inflammation, or immune fire. But here's the important thing. If we understand the pathway to inflammation, we can intervene and prevent them from happening in the first place, which means less discomfort and potentially a long life with vibrant health. Today I'm going to show you 5 pathways to inflammation in the body, which once you understand, you can easily reverse because as we practice stopping the fire within, the fires in our lives can also be calmed. In nature, lava is essential to life. From lava, new land is created. Fires provide wood ash with vital nutrients to regenerate soil. Some seeds won't even open unless there is a fire. It's a natural part of the cycle of life. In the human body, classical inflammation is also a vital part of our immune system that serves to protect us and heal us. It's an awe-inspiring, miraculously sophisticated series of biochemical reactions and counter-reactions that have to happen. Think about it. When you get a cut, a bruise, a bug bite, you have receptors on nerve endings that respond to any stimuli that are harmful to you. Damaged cells release chemicals that alert sensory neurons. The brain registers the physical sensation of pain. At the same time, the immune system is alerted to the presence of any bacteria or virus that may have entered the body. The inflammation floodgates are opened. Blood, fluid, and protein rush to the site as the area blood vessels widen, which can cause swelling or additional pain. What's so cool is that the blood vessels upstream of an injury, between the heart and injury, widen, whereas downstream of the injury, they constrict to keep the injured cells or infected tissue from traveling throughout the body. Our incredible immune system is so intelligent that it knows how to send out first responders. These are mast cells, white blood cells that are developed in the bone marrow, and that migrate all over the body. Mast cells secrete histamine, and histamine is a chemical messenger that makes blood capillaries more leaky. Leaky capillaries release extra fluid into the injured area, and this enables large numbers of white blood cells to go to work to heal the injury. Organic messengers, the eicosanoids, and cytokine cells rush to the scene, as well as fibrin and fibronectin, both proteins. They cross-link and form a matrix that traps proteins and particles and prevents further blood loss. The fibrin-fibronectin matrix is the main structural support for the wound to heal, and collagen and platelets adhere to it, forming a blood clot. If an infection has entered the body, leukocytes, white blood cells, engulf and attack foreign or damaged compounds. This is our body's natural protection from disease, germs, and viruses. They're the body's guardian force. In some cases, they digest the damaged or foreign cells. In other cases, they wear them away chemically by secreting free radicals, caustic molecules that can destroy other cells. In the immune system, harmful free radicals defend us from foreign invaders. But if unbalanced high levels of free radicals are present, healthy cells can be harmed. Once the emergency is over, the messengers, the shutting down messages, are relayed. The innate cascade winds down to a trickle as the white blood cells clear the debris from the wounded site. Enzymes that break down proteins dissolve and clear the fibrin and the fibronectin from the wounded area. New healthy skin cells cover the wound, and the circulation returns to normal. In a healthy, balanced system, you are constantly healing yourself. Unlike classic inflammation, which I've just described, Metabolic inflammation is the body's response to bad lifestyle choices, from eating junk food and exposing oneself to environmental conditions that are unnatural to the body. Environmental factors such as pollution, radiation, cigarette smoke, and herbicides also could trigger this inflammation response. Metabolic inflammation occurs when the body is carrying a toxic load due to various dietary, lifestyle, and environmental stimuli, which causes the immune system to act and counterattack. This attack damages cells and tissues, which spur on even more attacks, a self-perpetuating spiral that diminishes your health. Metabolic inflammation, or immune fire, is changing our healthy biochemistry for one that destroys cells, tissues, and organs. It's a long, slow burn that could go unnoticed for decades, but when symptoms appear, it may be too late to reverse it. However, if we understand the various mechanisms of metabolic inflammation, we can get a clue on how to intervene and stop it from happening in the first place, and potentially living much longer and healthier lives. So the 5 pathways to inflammation are poor cellular structure through eating bad fats, overproduction of cytokines, high sugar and refined carb intake, toxic environments, and unhealthy blood flow. You are composed of approximately 50 trillion cells, all alive, all intelligent, all working in harmony to create this being called you. And there is a whole universe that is contained in each one of those cells. In fact, the cell membrane is a highly metabolically active 2 layers of fatty acids that are integral to cellular activity, intelligence, and communication. It is composed mostly of fat, and it is so intelligent that some people believe that the spelling should be changed to membranes. When we get injured, prostaglandins are a group of lipids made of sites of tissue damage or infections that are involved in dealing with injury and illness. They control processes such as inflammation, blood flow, and the formation of blood clots. These are like hormones in that they convey information from the outside of the cell to the DNA in the nucleus, so the DNA can produce the protein and enzymes to respond in a healthy manner. Prostaglandins can signal the body to inflame or to quell inflammation. You probably heard of omega-3 and omega-6 oils. While the body needs both, the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 intake ought to be 1:1. But instead, our modern diet has people consuming a ratio of 15 to 20 times the omega-6s that we need. And here's the thing. Omega-6s send messages of inflammation, while omega-3s send messages to quell inflammation. Red meat and most industrial seed oils like corn, safflower, canola, and soy deliver omega-6s, while fish, flax, and chia seeds deliver primarily omega-3s. So substituting fish for red meat or taking omega-3 supplements is a key to stopping inflammation. If you haven't checked out my video on the good, bad, and ugly fats, I go in depth into what fats can help to create healthy cellular structure versus fats that literally are toxic to your body. Something that most people don't know is that the COX-2 and LOX enzymes are needed to convert omega-6s to PGE2, a prostaglandin that signals inflammation. And so something else you can do is use certain herbs to block the conversion, like turmeric, white willow bark, ginger, skullcap, and boswellia. That's one of the reasons you've seen so much popularity in the use of the spice turmeric and frankincense in essential oils lately. The next phase of inflammation starts when the inflammatory message of PGE2 makes it to the DNA and instructs it to inflame. The DNA produces a transcription factor called NF-kappa B. This is the beginning of the inflammation cascade. From this activity, inflammatory compounds used by the immune cytokines are produced. Cytokines are messenger proteins that are secreted by many different cells that cause more inflammatory action. This gives us another chance to stop the inflammatory process. Resveratrol, the antioxidants from red wine, blocks NF-kappa B. But instead of drinking a lot of red wine, you can take resveratrol to lower metabolic inflammation, including excessive cytokine production. Also, another innate body chemical that can cause us harm and inflame the blood is homocysteine. Proteins are broken down into amino acids. They work in pairs. Cysteine converts into methionine in a cycle and back again. To do so, it needs B vitamins to convert to methionine. If there aren't enough B vitamins, the cysteine doesn't fully convert and it gets stuck in the form of homocysteine, which builds up in the blood. If it's not quickly converted to methionine, it will damage and inflame your blood vessels. It needs B vitamins to do this, particularly vitamin B6, B12, and folic acid. A strong multivitamin high in B complex can make a huge difference. In the US, 2 out of 3 Americans are overweight or obese, and at this rate, over 1/3 of Americans will have diabetes by 2050. The pandemic has only accelerated obesity, especially in children. Why is that so bad? Excess weight around the midsection is a special fat called visceral adipose tissue, or VAT. Unlike typical subcutaneous fat secretes lots of cytokines. That potbelly, spare tire, is inflaming you. So I'm going to let you in on a big secret that will not only help you lose weight, but is a pathway of inflammation that can be reversed. Most people have trouble losing weight because they produce too much insulin. Insulin spiking signals the body to store fat instead of burning it for energy. This is why spiking insulin with refined carbs makes it so hard to lose weight. Insulin is the energy modulating hormone. Without it, you can't convert sugar into energy. Its role is to convert sugar into glycogen to be stored in the liver for use in energy production. And it can convert the same glycogen into toxic fat. A diet high in sugar, desserts, candy, sweetened drinks, food additives, refined carbs as bread, pastas, and grains can cause insulin levels to spike, which causes not only weight gain, but can cause anxiety and panic, loss in focus, fatigue, and even more hunger. So it's a vicious cycle. When these are a significant part of your diet, you're literally telling your body to hold onto it. And an important side note, if you are wary about excess carbs, you don't have to worry about them in veggies and fruits, because these carbs are bound up with a fiber and released slowly and don't trigger insulin spikes. Curbing sugar and refined carbs is one of the most important things you could do, because it's inflaming you in yet another way. The excess sugar in your blood and carbs that don't get converted to and stored as fats can bind with proteins in the bloodstream and literally burn them to create a strange new chemical in the body called AGEs, advanced glycation end products, that the body attacks, causing more metabolic inflammation. Fried and processed foods include high levels of AGEs. Our immune system sees these novel compounds as foreign invaders and attack them, generating more inflammation. So what can you do? The mineral chromium and vanadium help blood sugars get into cells where they belong, so they'll produce energy and not burn and inflame you. Whereas alpha-lipoic acid, cinnamon, garlic, ginger, and turmeric can increase insulin sensitivity, allowing cells to take in more blood sugar. AGEs is one foreign chemical that leads us to the fourth pathway: toxic pollutants and free radicals from outside our bodies. We breathe hydrocarbons, smokestack, and chemtrails in our air. Our water is filled with toxic runoff from industries and chlorine, fluoride, and heavy metals like lead. Our food is filled with preservatives, shelf stabilizers, pesticides, herbicides, GMOs, trans fats, hormones, sugars, artificial colors, and flavors. The immune system's role is to get foreign invaders out of our bodies. Why are we filling our bodies with unnatural, new-to-nature foreign compounds that trigger our immune fire and metabolic inflammation? Also, our bodies, in an effort to adapt to its environment, will tend to get addicted to the substances that we give it, so we end up craving the very substance that's polluting us. To break the cycle, we have to allow our bodies a rest from all the inflammatory inputs. Eat organic, drink spring water, put an air purifier in your home, get rid of cleaning products with artificial fragrances and toxic chemicals, and most importantly, support and protect your major organs of detoxification: your liver, kidneys, and skin. In another episode, I'll go into depth on how to detoxify safely and effectively. But one of the most important things you ought to know why people who are eating healthily and still have inflammatory response is that their livers aren't working optimally. Your liver is made to break down toxins and eliminate them from your body using phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxifying enzymes. The amino acid L-cysteine, or N-acetylcysteine, produces glutathione, the liver's main detoxifying molecule. Calcium D-gluconate also detoxifies. The herbs silymarin, turmeric, and artichoke tonify the liver. CoQ10 and/or lipoic acid energizes the liver so it can do its job. The liver, being a fatty organ, needs a sorbitol palmitate, fat-soluble vitamin C, not to be confused with most vitamin C that is water-soluble, to protect it from free radical damage. This leads us to our fifth pathway to control metabolic inflammation. Your blood doesn't have to thicken as you age. Our immune system in its brilliance knows how to use inflammation to heal real wounds. To avoid all your blood leaving your body when you get a cut, the immune system thickens your blood so it can't bleed out. It does this by solidifying the proteins, fibrin and fibronectin, dissolve in the blood, which thickens and slows it down. As long as this is a temporary fix for a wound to close, there isn't a problem. But if it continues indefinitely, you can imagine that slow, thick blood has difficulty delivering nutrients and oxygen to all of your cells. When we don't control our immune system, this is exactly what happens. Our overall health and energy are diminished on an ongoing basis. Our blood thickens even when there is no wound. The solution? Systemic enzymes. Unlike digestive enzymes taken right before a meal, systemic enzymes are taken in between meals so that they can get into the bloodstream and dissolve the fibrin and fibronectin. The enzyme nattokinase from natto is ideal to battle this inflammatory overload. Pancreatin, serrapeptase, and bromelain can also make a difference. Now that we know the science behind how nutrition affects inflammation in the body, I'm starving. But what exactly are we going to eat? Sugar is often hidden in things we don't expect, like tomato sauce, packaged meats, cereals, yogurts, even protein bars. And industrial seed oils like soy and canola oil are hidden in mayonnaise and even hummus. The key to an anti-inflammatory diet is simple. Eat good fats, remove refined carbs and toxins from your environment, and take supplements that lower metabolic inflammation.
While nutrition is a great way to help reduce inflammation, we also know that our culture has become increasingly sedentary, which accelerates the loss for cardiovascular fitness, muscle strength, and lowers the age that we start to develop chronic disease. Did you know that exercise can help reduce metabolic inflammation? It's a bit anti-intuitive. When we work out after a long period of time, our bodies create these micro tears in the muscles, which then creates a temporary inflammatory response, which is why we feel sore. However, when you start exercising and moving your muscles regularly, your muscle cells release a small protein called interleukin 6 and interleukin 15, both of which help fight inflammation. IL-15 has also been shown in studies with mice to protect against abdominal fat. And as we know, since fat secretes cytokines, that's another reason to exercise. For more information about what supplements and herbs that I mentioned today, and a protocol for an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, you can download through the link below. And remember to subscribe if you want more content that connects the dots when it comes to science, biology, and nutrition.